We are coming to you today, mid-February. I think the last time we talked to you folks, it's about a month ago, and we had 4 to 5 inches of snow on the ground, which is rare for our part of the world. It was beautiful for a day, but we are kind of glad it's over. And now, if you look, the sky is blue, sun is shining, temperature is nearly 80 degrees. It is gorgeous here in South Georgia, but these blueberries are moving, let me tell you. When we saw you before, the buds were tight. Well, can you see the difference here? I hope you can. Well, Mr. Wiles is going to tell us what the difference is. And blueberries come in, they come in stages, and he's going to talk to us about what we're seeing today in the field.
Well, as she said, there's been quite a bit of change in these buds since the snow, probably 3 weeks ago. We still see some, all of them at that time were in this stage, a tight bud stage, a stage 2 is what it's referred to. They move, as the bud begins to progress, it moves into different stages. We see the same plant will have maybe 3 or 4 different stages on the same plant. This would be a stage 3 where it has begun to crack and kind of looks like a pineapple as it begins to expand. Then as it comes on out, some people call it a pink bud stage, but where the flowers have begun to elongate just a little bit or begun to separate is a stage 4. And as they continue to progress, these little blooms will elongate, and then finally they'll open into another stage. So as we're looking at these, we can see what I think was a little bit of damage perhaps from the cold, from the snow, and from the 19 to 20 degree temperatures that we had. And these scales on the outside are a little bit brown, and some of the tips are a little bit burned, but I don't think it's really going to hurt anything. It looks like once they've begun to come on out that they look pretty healthy, and I think the cold did not hurt them at that time. These buds can also take different temperatures, and I think we talked about that in a prior video, but when it's in a stage 2, it can take on down to 20 to 22 degrees. As it moves and begins to expand, about a 23 or maybe 24, and it gets on up to here, 24, 26 degrees will damage it. And then once we get into an open bloom, where the bloom is completely open, 28 degrees is about all it can stand. Then of course, once the bloom drops off and we got little berries, then 32 degrees is going to cause damage. So we're looking, right now we're probably 2 weeks behind where we were at this time last year. It typically takes from the time we find an open bloom, as we see, here's one right here that is an open bloom. And it being a little straggler out here by itself, chances are it may never make it. But from this stage until we find a blue berry, blue fruit, on this variety is about anywhere from 60 to 70 days. And that depends on the heat units that it accumulates from the time that it's in that stage. And that will vary from year to year. It's a process where the daytime temperature and the nighttime temperature is averaged together, and a little bit of a complicated way of figuring the heat units, and it's not a totally exact science, but it gives you a pretty good indication when we can expect blue fruit. So once we see say 20% of it with open bloom, we could do some calculations and have a pretty good idea then when we can expect to pick.
So this variety is the one that I think on our farm is absolutely the best to eat. It has kind of a thicker skin, and it's crunchy. That's what people around here call it, the crunchy berry. Because it does have a tougher skin. Therefore, when you bite into it, it's almost like a grape. Pops in your mouth. Anyway, they're wonderful. But this is the Keecrisp. But based on your knowledge of what you see here, when do you think we'll pick these?
I doubt we'll have much blue fruit before May 1st. Typically, they will move about a stage a week. Now, they're moving a little faster than that now, but we're probably going to have open bloom around we won't have but before we get 20% open bloom anyway. It'll probably be around the 20th of February, so you know, you add 65 days or so to that, and it's going to be about May 1st, I think.
All right, well, that'll be just in time for the U-pick. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my hands on some blue fruit, some delicious berries here on the farm. Now, if you look at these right now, you go, ooh, they look like they're dead. But really, if you could stand where I'm standing, you can see just a hint of green because those leaves are coming out. Why are the leaves so important, Mr. Wiles?
Well, the berries have to feed off the leaves, and typically here in South Georgia, the bloom will come out before the leaf does on most varieties, but it's important for the leaves to come out as soon as they can, and that gives the berry something to feed from. If it puts out a lot of berries and very few leaves, the berries won't size very well.
We thank the Lord for them and hope you will be able to get some of our delicious blueberries this year. You have a great day. Thank you for joining us here on the Wiles Blueberry Farm.